this video, we're going to be looking at the Amazon exclusive Deadpool 2 repaint. It's repainted to look like the end of Deadpool 2 when he was all dirty, dingy, and ash covered. And with this Deadpool, of course, it's a single release. It's not a 2-pack figure, so really wish this way we could have got the first Deadpool instead of having to pay a $50 price to get Deadpool. This one was $24.99 on Amazon.com. And same style artwork on the box as on the original release. It's just in the black and gray with a little bit of fire on it instead of the black, red, and white. You got the same artwork on the side of the box. Same with the original packaging. You have the X-Men logo. It looks like the Deadpool stuck a sticker over top of the X-Men logo. Wade Wilson been marked out. Deadpool on the bottom. Hasbro logo. Barcode, Marvel Legends logo. Legalese. Warnings. On the back. Attention. Deadpool. And on top of the box, you have the X-Men logo and another fake sticker stuck on top. And in plastic tray, Deadpool comes with the same two Nerf guns, the swords, and all the same hands as before, but instead this time, with the original release, that some of the hands didn't have the silver on them painted on the back. All these have the silver pads painted. As an open style grip hand on this side and the trigger finger on this side. On the original release is a fist and the open style pose hand. And here we have Deadpool out of the packaging. It's the same figure we got before, same sculpt, everything, all the accessories, everything's the same. The only thing new is the color scheme. This is representing the dark, gritty look he had at the end of the movie in Deadpool 2. All the same accessories. It has 4 sets of hands total. Has open style pose hands, trigger fingers, fist hands, and C grips for the swords. And these, like we mentioned before, the C grips for the swords are horizontal hinges, so they don't really work well for the swords. So I'm going to actually just use the trigger fingers, which are vertical hinged, when I put swords in his hands. He comes with the same knife. He's still got the sheath on the boot. And the guns are glued in, same with the standard release. I was hoping, since this is going to be a newer figure, they would learn from their mistake and not glue the guns in again. But these are glued in. This is something interesting. The swords are actually different from the 2-pack release. As you can see, there are no numbers near the hilt of the sword on either sword. And this one from the 2-pack, you see a number 8 on this sword. And on this sword is the number 3. Huh. That's kind of strange. I actually like not having the numbers on the sword. So, like I mentioned before, with these swords, to me, they seem like too skinny of a profile, too short of a blade for a katana for a figure this scale. One thing I did with the other one for display, I'm using the Articulations Icons katana, which seems like a better proportioned blade, and it fits in the trigger hands just fine. It won't fit in with the size of the handle on these swords. It will not fit into the C grip for the Deadpool figure, and I'm using a Valverse gun on this side. Now with the sheaths on the back, they are actually curved a certain way for you to put the swords in, and it goes that way. And that way. Like I mentioned before on the review of the 2-pack, which actually got this one replaced, I mentioned on the 2-pack his waist twist was glued and had glue residue on the ab section. I thought about fixing it, and I thought, I paid $50 for a 2-pack plus tax. They can replace it for me, and instead of having to deal with a messed up figure. Happy to say, the replacement has no issues, what I've seen like the previous one. Now with the sculpt, it is the exact same sculpt as before, like I mentioned. Just the color scheme all is different. I do love, like I mentioned before, the textured of the suit, the canvas style texture. There's one thing I noticed on this figure that's not on the 2-pack. We have a white serial number on the back of his leg, where it's a darker color scheme, it's even more noticeable. Wish they would just put those on the feet, where you don't have to look at those. It's like, come on. And this material is going to be little pain to get that off. That texture, you gotta be careful what you use to take those off. See, it's not on the 2-pack red one. Actually, it's not on here at all. I don't see it. Huh. With the darker color scheme, my only nitpick, it's not as bad in person when I first seen pictures of it. This belt, the pouches on the belt, they look too clean in comparison to the rest of the body. Looks like these should have been either darker brown or applied a wash to it. We really made it match the tone of the figure a little bit better. And since this is the exact same figure, and I reviewed recently, now all the articulations are all the same. You have the ball peg for the head. One thing I did notice with the previous one, I thought this might have had a ball joint at the base of the neck. It doesn't. It just attaches to the neck, and it's just a rubbery piece. It feels like it should articulate, but it doesn't. The only articulation you have is in the ball joint itself, which does not really move. And all the articulation, this is the only range of motion you have in that ball joint. It doesn't move hardly at all. So basically it's just a ball peg. So you get virtually no up, down, just basically because the chin is hollowed out. You get tilt from side to side, and of course 360. You got disc hinge shoulders, go up this far, butterfly joints, bicep swivels, double jointed elbows, hinge and swivel wrist. These are, of course, these are vertical hinges on the trigger fingers. Open style pose hands has horizontal hinges. The sword hands have horizontal hinges. And the fist have horizontal hinges. The only vertical hinged hands are the trigger fingers. Ab crunch goes this far forward. It is capable of going further back, but the sword sheath's getting away. So that's going to be the only distance back it goes. Non-glued waist twist on this one. Ball jointed hips. The guns are rubbery so that it doesn't hinder articulation. Thigh swivels. Double joint knees. There's no boot cut. There's a hinged ankle and ankle pivots. And with the arms are actually pinless, so you don't have any pins showing, which looks really nice. You do have pins down the legs, but not on the arms. So if you have the 2-pack Deadpool, you know exactly what you're getting with this figure. It's just a different color scheme. It's just made to look like it's darker and dirtier. The only thing with the color scheme, like I mentioned, the belt seems like it's too light of a color to match the darkness and grittiness of the rest of the costume. So it doesn't look that much different a shade from the original belt. They made the red on the Deadpool symbol on the belt darker, which actually shouldn't have got too much darker, because this would have been painted, and this is fabric material. But they didn't make the pouches a darker color. They're just slightly different shade. Just a little bit darker, not much. To me, it should have been a lot darker to match with the rest of the outfit. But it's still a good looking figure, even though they did stupidly still glue in the guns. I have to heat these up and take a flat, thin, like a micro screwdriver and try to work my way in to break these guns free, so I can have access to the holsters. I'll probably replace the guns with some Battleverse guns. But if you're looking to recreate the final scene of Deadpool 2, this is a good looking figure. My only thing I may end up doing is adding a wash to the pouches. And I really hope we can get a Colossus and Juggernaut for the final battle as well. Especially Colossus, since he's in both movies. And Francis and Angel Dust would be cool to add to the Deadpool shells as well, but I don't see us getting those anytime soon. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.